On a sweltering night in the Philippines, Miguel, a medical student, felt an irresistible pull towards an abandoned hospital renowned for its terrifying tales. Stories of a wandering nun searching for redemption haunted the air, thick with tension and mystery. Intrigued and perhaps a bit reckless, Miguel decided to investigate. Armed with his cell phone to document everything and a heart racing with adrenaline, he stepped into the crumbling building, oblivious to the dangers lurking within. Rules to follow. 1. If you hear footsteps behind you, don't look. 2. Upon entering the chapel, never touch the candles. They may light up on their own. 3. Do not speak the nun's name. She doesn't like to be called. 4. If you feel a sudden chill, flee immediately. 5. Never stay after midnight. Something may follow you. As he crossed the threshold, a shiver ran down Miguel's spine. He dismissed it with a nervous laugh, thinking the rules were just urban myths designed to scare the unwary. The corridor ahead was cloaked in shadows, with broken windows letting in the moonlight that danced on the walls, casting eerie shapes. He began recording his experience, chuckling nervously as he spoke about the legends. But deep inside, a knot of fear tightened. As Miguel explored deeper, the atmosphere began to shift. The air grew heavy, and strange sounds echoed through the hallways, like whispers that seemed to call his name. He recalled the third rule, but brushed it aside. What nonsense, he thought, trying to shake off the growing sense of dread. The walls seemed to close in on him, and every creak of the floorboards sent his heart racing. When he finally reached the chapel, an overwhelming sense of dread enveloped him. The air thickened, and a cold breeze swept down the hallway, sending a shiver down his spine. He remembered Rule 4 about the sudden chill, but it was too late. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream sliced through the silence, echoing from inside the chapel. Miguel's heart raced, curiosity battling against instinctual fear. He pushed open the chapel door, and inside, the candles were arranged in a neat row on an altar, but there was no sign of wind or any logical explanation. To his shock, the candles began to glow with a sinister light, flickering as if an unseen hand was guiding them. Trying to step back, he felt an unseen force grip him. A hooded figure emerged from the shadows, its presence palpable. It was a nun, her face concealed beneath a veil, but her eyes shone like burning coals.
"Did you call me?"
she whispered in a voice that sent chills through his entire being. Paralyzed by terror, Miguel remembered Rule 3. "I didn't call you," he stammered. But the nun seemed unfazed. A cold dread swept through him, and in that moment, panic took over. He spun around and ran, the echo of the nun's footsteps pursuing him like a relentless shadow. He sprinted through the dark corridors, each beat of his heart echoing in the oppressive silence. As he ran, flashes of the rules he had ignored raced through his mind. Rule 1, don't look back. But curiosity proved stronger than fear. When he turned, the nun was mere feet behind him, her expression an unsettling mix of sorrow and anger. Frantically searching for safety, Miguel spotted a half-open door and rushed inside an examination room. The sight was chilling, rusty equipment scattered about and dust coating everything. It was here he stumbled upon a dusty diary lying on a table. Flipping through the yellowed pages, he discovered that the nun, named Sister Beatriz, had been a nurse who tragically died in the hospital. The diary recounted her heartbreaking tale. She had failed to save a child during a critical moment and, in her despair, made a pact to protect innocent souls. But the pact came with a heavy price. It condemned her to wander the halls of the hospital, forever seeking forgiveness. Miguel's heart raced as he realized he could easily become another lost spirit trapped within these walls. Suddenly, the door slammed shut behind him, and the temperature in the room plummeted. The nun appeared once more, her form more defined, now closer than ever. Fear nearly overwhelmed Miguel, But in that moment of terror, an impulse surged within him, compelling him to speak. "Sister Beatriz, I am not your enemy. I want to help." Her gaze shifted, the flames in her eyes flickering momentarily.
"Help me find the child,"
she implored, her voice heavy with grief.
"Only then can I rest."
Miguel, still shaking, made a decision. Fear would not stop him from trying to help. "Where is she?" he asked, determination rising within him. The nun pointed toward a room at the end of the corridor, a chamber from which soft echoes of children's laughter seemed to emanate. With Sister Beatriz following closely, Miguel entered and found an old, worn-out doll tucked in a corner, its features faded, yet strangely comforting. As soon as he picked it up, a warm, golden light enveloped the room, and for a brief moment the oppressive atmosphere lifted. The nun smiled, tears shimmering in her eyes.
"Thank you,"
she whispered, her form beginning to dissolve into the light. Miguel stumbled out of the hospital, his heart pounding but filled with a sense of relief, knowing he had helped a lost soul find peace. However, as he stepped into the cool night air, he glanced back at the building. The doll in his hands began to vibrate gently, sending another shiver down his spine. He paused, a new sense of foreboding washing over him. As he walked away from the haunted hospital, he reflected on the rules he had ignored, realizing the weight of his choices. The silence around him felt thick, and suddenly he recalled one last warning echoing in his mind. The next time you venture into a forgotten place, remember, some souls never rest. They may guide you to your fate, but also to your doom. If you enjoyed this chilling tale and want to hear more eerie legends, be sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a scare. And don't forget, there's another story waiting for you on the screen right now. See you in the next one. Unless the nun and the doll come to fetch you first.